moaning about my diet.
Eating is a luxury, so not everyone can afford it.
It's those last couple of reps which are the real benefit.
Correcting his posture.
Tell me 3 examples of how that applies to my business.
One day I will get you.
He's always moaning about my diet. The first thing I ever said to him when I came to train was, just don't talk to me about diet, I will never stick to it. I said, I've got more semi-sensible than I used to be, but I've also got addicted to the baby's lints as well.
Work in progress. We'll look at it the way we look at the weights. Yeah. Small
4% every day.
Small changes daily.
For me, it's those last couple of reps on the sets which are the real benefit of personal training for me. I think everyone's going to have their own view. When it comes to how do you do an exercise, if you don't know how to do an exercise, you can look it up on YouTube. The science behind nutrition, the science behind PTs is not really fucking secret anymore. It's all out there, but I think for me the PT is the accountability, get me out of bed in the morning. Even though I pay for the session and theoretically I can not turn up, I don't not come, not because I've paid, but just because I've got a commitment to come and see someone. But also that failure on the last sets is the bit that makes the difference, you know, that second to last one, that last one when you're killing yourself and you can't do any more. That's just like in business, just like in any area of growth. That is the area of growth that you can't do that. And I personally can't do it on my own. Either I can't do it because I'm going to get trapped under a weight, or I can't do it because I can't be asked to push myself. So having someone else is why, for me, it's worthwhile paying to have that PT.
I mean, most people train anyway. They actually don't train hard.
Yeah.
They think they're training hard, but how they're training or where they're training to is not failure. You know, when they're failure, yeah, they're going to get some benefits, but to really benefit and to understand how hard they should train, I mean, that's one reason why most people should at least try a PT once in their life, just to show them how hard you need to work to actually make changes. It's like a business, isn't it? Because if it was easy, you'd be able to set up a business and have it running perfectly tomorrow, but you can't. You've got to work harder.
Or if you can't, you know, if you really haven't got the budget for a PT, at least have a training partner, someone who can help you on that 11th rep and 12th rep and say, come on, we're not fucking off for a coffee now, we are going to get one more thing in. But, you know, like anything, I guess any knowledge is better than no knowledge, but, you know, but the best knowledge, the best coaches, the best advice are going to get you to where you want to be quicker than anyone else. Over here, PTs are a lot more expensive in Dubai than in England. I think Dubai than Spain as well. I mean, a decent PT here, you're paying 100 quid an hour, really, aren't you?
Yeah.
500 dirhams, 100 quid an hour. But like anything, you get what you pay for, and if you get the results, that's all that matters.
What I found here as well, so there's so many different nationalities. For example, in the UK, we're used to a higher wage, whereas when you got like a lot of the Indian PTs, their salary expectations are a lot lower, and that is a big thing in Dubai anyway, isn't it?
For me, what it is, not just with PTs, but with any trade here, everyone is here to operate at a higher level.
Yeah.
Whilst I'm not saying you have to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger to be a good PT or to be a good, you know, let's say bodybuilding PT, I do want to know that the person I'm training with has kind of achieved at least some of what I want to achieve.
Yeah.
It's like taking business advice from someone who's skint. I really who I want to take business advice from. And the thing about the UK PTs, okay, I'm slightly generalising, so I'm not trying to do all of you UK PTs a disservice here, but so many are not in the shape I'd like to be in. They're out boozing, they're out sniffing, they're out fucking eating too much. I have to do all that on my own, you know. I want to know that the person I'm taking the advice from is in the shape that I want to be, or was, you know, trying to aspire to be. And everyone just operates at a much higher level here in Dubai.
Yeah, it's like the reason you get a business mentor is because they've been there, they've done it, and they've achieved it on a high level. Same with PT, you want them to have achieved, walk the walk and talk the talk.
There's so many niches in everything. So we talk about business, we talk about fitness. Bodybuilding is very different to sprinting. Sprinting's very different to CrossFit. A great bodybuilding trainer may be, or probably will be, a terrible boxing trainer who will be a terrible cricket coach. Business is absolutely not fucking business. You know, there's marketing, there's operations, there's sales, there's recruitment, there's finance. There's some things I major very, very strongly in. There's some things that I can talk to you about generally, but I'm not the best guy to get the advice from. So I think when you know what you want to achieve, really niche down what it is you want to achieve and find the best person for that thing.
PT is a luxury, so not everyone can afford it, and when money's tight, it's the luxuries that go first. But here, not really an issue for a lot of people, so I feel that's a big part.
But while PTing's a luxury, fitness absolutely isn't, and that's got to be an essential. One of my big, let's say, turning points of what I did was during COVID, because I'd never really walked much before, and then obviously I had no choice but to fucking walk. I used to go out not just for my daily hour, but I'd take my phone and I would literally walk I'd walk until my battery was dead. I mean, like 3-4 hours. Come home, recharge my battery and go back out again, because I'd just be going out making my calls for work. Even if you haven't got oodles of time, or even if you don't like doing anything else, you know, to go for a walk and make calls, or walk and, you know, listen to a podcast or whatever. I didn't used to think it so much before, but listen, work comes ahead of this, work comes ahead of that. But now I won't start work until I've done a good workout. But if people talk about, oh, you want to put some extra years on your clock, years aside, I just don't want to be a fat fuck, you know, and I don't care how much money I've got. I don't want to have a load of money and be, you know, £300 and
not be able to play with kids,
not be able to play with the kids. Or you see all the rich guys who are fat and ugly and horrible, but they've got birds because they're paying for them. I mean, fine, you can have one you pay for, but I'd at least like one to come and get me, because I've got something to offer other than a bit of cash. And I might not have the six pack, but I'm not a bad catch. Find me at Is Matt Haycox on all things social. My social media to get me to 100 clients. Have you got an email list? Do you do paid ads? The reality is, in that room, every problem has probably been solved by somebody. There's a guy behind me who buys petrol stations in Canada, and he wants to buy more petrol stations. And he's asking a question. Now, a lot of the lads in the room, they're in the online space, so it probably wasn't for them. But the problems he was talking about were the same kind of problems I used to have buying bars.
Yeah.
Okay, bars and petrol stations, you're selling a different product, but you're buying them from the same people. So, you know, I could help him. I had a problem with YouTube thumbnails. Well, there's a lad there who's doing millions on YouTube. Just a good chance for everyone to get together. And Ty talked about psychology, but again, because it's been in a private classroom with you at a school, he'll talk about psychology, and then you'll go, actually, just stop a minute, mate. I'm an investment manager. Tell me 3 examples of how that applies to my business, so I can go away and you go, oh yeah, okay, but can you just tell me for personal training as well? And then we just all had a couple of drinks together that night. Very good.
You're very happy with it?
Yeah.
It's very important because it helps with recovery. It also prevents injuries because it increases your range of motion. So if you're more relaxed, if you're more flexible, then you've got a deeper range of motion with your workout. But also it really helps recovery and injury prevention because it strengthens all the ligaments and tendons and muscles, obviously. You can basically do a lot more. You can move a lot more. You know, I've heard of people who like put their back out, putting their shoes on. Obviously, as you get older, you become stiffer, everything seasons up a lot. But if you stretch regularly, you keep that sort of mobility through all your joints and muscles and ligaments. So basically, it just keeps your body young and mind young. It's very good for reducing stress as well. Just loosening up his hip flexors here. I'm not rubbing his bum, I promise. Bit of massage while you're stretching can help as well.
Before and after.
Just get his leg. Opening up the chest and switching shoulders.
I always feel more seized up and stretched when we do this.
But then afterwards it feels much better. Once the torch is finished, just trying to recorrect he works so hard, so he carries a lot of tension in his shoulders and his back. And he's, sitting down or rushing around a lot, and that really tightens your back up, which then tightens your hips and your hamstrings and everything up. This is kind of like correcting his posture and trying to loosen up the body because it really does carry a lot of stress and everything gets stiff. And then he struggles to put his shoes on.
Hey, Matt here, just interrupting myself quickly to say thank you for listening to No Bollocks. But did you also know I've got another podcast, Stripping Off with Matt Haycox. Very different. No Bollocks is the quick daily business tactics that you need. But Stripping Off, we just do it once a week. We go deep, deep, deep with a CEO, with a celebrity, with an athlete, with just an international inspiring character. We find out what makes them tick, we find out how they got to where they got to, and we find out how you can learn and benefit from them too. So jump on over to Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, wherever you listen to your content, and I'll see you on a future episode.